Yo, let it go for a long. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another hot fire episode of the Audible podcast. I'm your host, the Woody, the Woadster. It feels 1984, and I was hanging out with Ferris Bueller. Welcome back to another episode. Appreciate y'all coming by, stopping by once again for this greatness. Um, it's been a fantastic time watching I've been watching NBA playoffs. Hating on teams in the NBA playoffs. Once my team lose, the hate get cranked up. We crank that hate up to about 425. I want to see it burn. I'm trying to see the pizza cook in 3 minutes, not 13. Sometimes take longer than that. It used to be like 20 minutes. You gotta put it on low. I used to do that with frozen pizzas. You throw them holes in there, you put that bitch on 400 and expect it to cook quicker. Yeah, it's gonna cook quicker. Uh, but that bitch gonna blow up in the oven. I want to thank y'all for just coming by. We don't know what episode it is, per usual. I haven't known the episode uh since like episode 6 or 7. First of all, what I want y'all to do, go to crossthestreams.com. We got a whole lot of podcasts. Jesus Christ, we got a whole lot of podcasts of just about everything. Um, when it comes to anything, movies, Spider-Man talk, comedy, um, geez, yeah, comedy podcast, food podcast. It's everything now. Check it out. Let's get into this show. So, what should I talk about first? So, we've had some glorious times. I want to talk about. We're gonna do some UFC. Unfortunately for me, y'all, I don't. When it's time to podcast, it's just time. Sometimes you just wake up right here at 3:08 um in the AM, and you be like, you know what, I should probably do one of these. First thing I want to discuss is the NBA, right? So in podcast past, it's even titled was the initial hate and the weaning off and the apology from me to Luka Doncic, right? So this is audio proof. This is in a library of Congress. All these podcasts are stored next to Nixon files. Actually, it actually is. When Luka first came in, um, I remember somebody telling me, "Dog, you just don't like him because he's white." I'm like, "Dog, no, this nigga is from Slovenia. I just don't respect it. This is where Dracula come from. Why would I care about a dude that's only played over there and he from the same castle Dracula from? Why would I care? Right? Instantly instantly proven wrong. Luka Doncic seems to be an all timer. In my and this is one of the things of being a fan of a team that's trash for so long is that you just get to see the difference on what a good player is, a role player. You appreciate all of it. It is what it is. A good player, role player, good player, very good player, a great player, and superstar. There's a lot of different tiers. Luca is instantly in the superstar level. And let me tell you what a superstar is. Superstar does one thing. A superstar is going to get you to the playoffs no matter what. And a superstar is going to at least win you a playoff series or two, right? So I am more than sure Luca has won more playoff series than Anthony Davis did for the Pelicans. I'm more than sure because Pelicans only won one. That was against Portland. I think he's already won. They beat Clippers. Yeah, he's already passed that, right? So and his Dallas roster is not as good as No, the fucking Reggie Bullock. I'm not sitting there thinking this out. It's fucking Reggie Bullock and Finney Smith. I like Finney Smith. I like Reggie Bullock. Dinwiddie, they cool. Brunson is cool. Cleveland Powell, like these are not. You know what I mean? Like they play hard, but it's not. It's not another great player on a squad with him. So for them to be drug into the playoffs, not by their feet, by the front collar of their shirt, they was like a 4 or 5 seed. They're not sneaking in a 7, 8 with just Luca, and this is the difference. This is the difference with superstar players. Um, they come in, they go against Utah, they go down against Utah. They still beat Utah, no Luca. They won like 2 games without Luca. Because they just have a bunch of players that play real tough and play real hard. And they seem to have pretty good coaching. They seem to have, you know, Jason Kidd is, I was gonna say he's one of those players not really talked about. He's talked about a lot. He's known as one of the best point guards. So of course, the point guard point of view is the vision point of view is totally different than anybody else on the court because you control everything. So usually the game is a lot slower. What Jason Kidd draft year? What year was Jason Kidd drafted? Because it seems like Jason Kidd 1994. So Jason Kidd, he came in a year before Kevin Garnett. I think that's maybe 2 years before Kobe. I think that's 2 years before Kobe. And he was the number 2 pick by Dallas. I think he started off with Dallas and ended with Dallas. Um, and now he coaches Dallas. That's pretty cool. Um, Glenn Robinson, Grant Hill was number 3. Damn, that's kind of crazy. Jason Kidd got drafted before Grant Hill. Daniel Marshall, Juwan Howard was number 5. Sharon Wright. Trying to see. All right, so I'm looking at like the top 10, right? Look at this top 10 from 94. This is Glenn Robinson, Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, and we see it from perspective now. Danielle Marshall is number 4 by the Timberwolves. Jesus Christ, Timberwolves. Juwan Howard, Sharon Wright, number 6. Lamont Murray, number 7. Brian Grant, Eric Montrose, number 9. And number 10, Eddie Jones. Um, I'm trying to look through at least like the first 30 picks, 30 players, just to see if there's anybody. Jalen Rose at 13. Yinka Dare. Jeez, I remember Yinka Dare at number 14. Um, there's nobody here that was like a first or second rounder that turned out to be better than everybody else. No, hell no. Jesus Christ. See, and looking at this list is why the European players throw me off. Zeko Rebraka. This dude's from Yugoslavia. He's from Yugoslavia. These dudes, Andre Fedosov. He's from Russia. That's what I don't get. That's what throw me off with these European players. But again, there is a difference. And seeing it from Jason Kidd's point of view, so why I went to look up Jason Kidd's draft is these players that, and I wish there was more interviews on them, but that's what I really should be doing. I should be just talking to people about shit like this, uh, instead of talking to myself about shit like this. It's a weird kind of spectrum for cats like Kobe Garnett. Grant Hill he's mostly injured, but he's there. Jason Kidd, from the guys that kind of got drafted during during that little pause in the Jordan era, like 93, 96, that's the active Jordan era. But 94, 95, he was gone. So you coming into a league with no Jordan, and 2 years later, oh, this nigga's back. So he probably played them, and he probably lost to the Bulls because they were still a tough team. They were still a good team. They still won like 60 games. I believe 60 games without Jordan. Well, now he's back. So you get this little perspective of cats that was in the Jordan era in the middle as it ended, and then the Laker era, and then the LeBron era. You know what I mean? Like you have these great players that fall under such a dominant umbrella of what the narrative. I'm just like naming the narrative, the Bulls era, the Lakers era, which is like 3 4 years, and then LeBron is pretty much the LeBron era. Then we got some Heatles, and there's really no eras. It's really nothing. It's really like it's pretty much just LeBron. Um, I'm trying to think of the Spurs. The Spurs don't have an era. It's just the Spurs. It's just around because it was around in the '90s. It was around in the 2000s. It was around in the 2010s. So they just kind of spread across everything. But it's just to me, it's a different perspective of cast that got to play during the Jordan era. They played against Kobe. They played against LeBron. And and that like maybe within 10 or 12 years, Jason Kidd and Cameron Garnett, Kobe, these guys got to compete against Jordan. They got to compete against LeBron. Kobe and them got their own little thing going on. Jason Kidd lost to them one of the years when he was with the Nets, but um seeing him coach this team and Lucas already got it, but to have what a top five point guard all time, top 3 to 5 point guard, depending on you asking all time, to have that there with you, I think it's just absolutely invaluable. And I remember a quote I seen yesterday. It's from 2019 when LeBron was saying that Jason Kidd 19 was the year before the bubble, before COVID. Yeah, that's when the season first started. Um, the COVID year, the bubble year, and he says that Jason Kidd he seems is probably the only person that looks at the game with the same amount of clarity as he does. LeBron said this. And part of that was bullshit. Part of that was him wanting him to be the Lakers coach. Um, I'm starting to think that the Suns owner was correct. Solver, these niggas need a nigga. It just seems like the players are responding well. Well, I don't think it's a black coach thing. I think it's a former player coach thing. Recent player coach thing because a lot of the young black coaches they getting it instantly. The cat from Boston, I didn't even know this nigga played in the NBA. You know, pardon me. Uh, and he's married to Nia Long. So Jesus Christ, this motherfucker got it made already. Uh, but cats like that. So I'm wondering why Sam Cassell didn't get his shot yet. Um, I always say the same thing when it comes to um, you know, certain coaches or black coaches or any type of coaches getting a shot. Alvin Gentry is probably gonna get another go at it. Mike Brown just got hired for the Sacramento Kings, and you wanna I want to sit there and squander these guys' opportunity. I can, I am going to. I don't mean to be malicious about it. I guess. Uh, but how many times we gonna see Mike Brown fucking coach? How many times we gonna see this nigga lose? The Lakers shit, the Cleveland shit. Uh, oh, like it feels like the Warriors. It's kind of like the what Bama do when Bama bring in some old NFL coach that's just trash, and then he goes under Bama, and then they look good, but it's really Bama, and then they get a fucking NFL job again, like O'Brien, who fucked up the Texans. He gets a job in Alabama. He's getting offers to come back in the NFL. What? This nigga was a coach, was terrible. Became a GM, was terrible, and went to a school that don't even need nobody there. You could just have Saban and some skeletons. You could probably just have some skeletons at this point. Just have one of the skeletons talk like Saban. Put Saban on the intercom, tape it to the skeleton chest. and let him sit at home, watch the game, and coach it, and they'll probably still win the championship. So the same coaches are getting the same opportunities, and it's happening with football too. The same black coaches, it's the same old guard, the same old guard, a- and it just keeps happening. So, getting back to the Mavericks, Luca getting that perspective is great. Um, we're gonna see how good of a coach Jason Kidd has really become. We're starting to see it now. We'll see it in the next couple years. Um, because in Milwaukee there was decent at best. I know Giannis is not Giannis now, but um, they were trash. So but we'll see how that go. When it comes to Phoenix, um, you know, you see a couple days ago I called them front runners, right? Before game 5 actually. It's not a couple days ago, it's been weeks. It's at the game 5. I seen a tweet a couple days ago. And I called them front runners. And I knew that from a Pelicans game. And you can see the heart outside these dudes' chests. It's just waiting to get ripped out. You can look at them and tell well how they acted with the Pelicans because look, the Pelicans is trash. It's a playing team. It was a little bit of excitement, but uh, what's this dude Graham? Devontae Graham. This man got traded for a first round pick, and he's not even in like the rotation, a playoff rotation. They had a rookie, Herb Jones, Herb Jones, and Jose Alvarado, who was it was his first time even in the NBA. This I don't even know where this nigga come from. I don't even know where this nigga played at. If he was in G League, what college he went to, I have no idea. Um, you put that with CJ McCollum, who just got traded, and he's been there a couple months. Brandon Ingram, who just coming into his own, but he's been banged up pretty much all year with injury. This nigga's been injured all year, but he's played a lot of games. He look like he's been playing through injuries, but there's been some spans of him missing 4 games straight, 5 games, 2 games. You know what I mean? Like, so he's been banged up. Um, Valanciunas is there. It's all a nobody there. I feel like nobody there has been there for 3 years. Nobody on the team has been there 3 years. So when you have this team and you see them start to just pull a quit out of the Suns, there was no way the Pelicans supposed to win 2 games. It's a fucking 1 versus 8. You would you go to game 6, you go to game 6 against the Pelicans. That's what I already knew. Um, so I figured Phoenix didn't have the heart. Um, you could tell from Booker's face. He's the ultimate front runner. I like Book as a player. He's the ultimate front runner. Like he's the ultimate crybaby. It's on his face. Like it's literally tattooed on his face when things are not going well. He has no poker face. Um, you can visibly he look like he's about to cry. So he doesn't have a poker face. Chris Paul's the same way. When it comes to these games, it just don't happen. It's just don't happen. This is history. It's not a it's not a ability thing. It's just history. This was supposed to happen. This is like year 17. They they were they were down 46. And that's not even the worst you've ever been down in a playoff game. You can add 20 more points to that. So things like that just don't happen. When you're nut kicking, you're elbowing guys in the face. Um, the refs, Pat Beverly kind of brought that up in this hater of the year rant yesterday. The knick-knack files, nobody calls it. Um, and to me, the main thing and we're gonna discuss. I gotta get into this. The main thing is the nut kicking, right? We've seen Chris Paul do it a lot. He's done it throughout his whole career, so this is his MO. Draymond Green has done it through his whole career, so this is his MO. This is just what they do. This is just how the type of people that they are. Actually, I'm not gonna say this is what they do because as men, kicking people in the nut, kicking niggas in the nuts is just some wrestling shit. Like Dudes don't actually do that. Like I need y'all to process this. I think in the name of basketball, we just see a dirty play and we're like, oh man, he tried to kick this man, he kicked this man, now he just did it again. But think about it, dog. When is the last time, everybody don't have fights and physical altercations every day, every week, every month, every even year. But who thinks about kicking somebody in the nuts? And my nigga, is this 1997? Are you China? Is this WWF? Like, who? I'm really trying to, I have to like sit people down, and I'm like, dog, like, think of the anger that you had for another person, another somebody you want to fight, or you thought about fighting. Maybe it was a road rage incident. Maybe it was somebody cut anything. Not even actual something real, just something that you felt. Because how you feeling and what's actually going on is the same thing when it's in your head. It's the exact same thing. So the process, these dudes kicking dudes in the nuts in the middle of the air on a basketball court. What kind of You're not even a good person. I'm trying to like I'm dead serious. Like we going in the air for a rebound, dog, and you thinking about kicking me in the nuts mid-air? Chris Kaman, he grabbed Chris Kaman nuts and squeezed him and turned him. What? So this is what really confuses me about people like this. Draymond with the weird leg, the ballet leg, the eye pokes, the grab. He's just not a good person. Chris Paul elbowing dudes in the face. Like I really can't process. I can't think of any time I wanted to kick somebody in the balls at. It's really a scumbag. Like women won't understand this. It's really a scumbag point of view when it's just a man on man. Like it's not even punching somebody in the face, slap me in the face, slam them through a table, slam them through concrete, something forceful, kicking somebody in the nuts. It's such a whole thing to do. And when it happened to Alvarado, when Chris Paul kicked Alvarado in the nuts, I believe he did it to Herb Jones as well. Push Herb Jones down. These are rookies. These are first year players. So I saw the writing on the wall from then. Um, and Dallas just finished them off. And they finished them off in the best way. I'm glad they lost by 40, but they was down 60. So I'm glad they lost by that much, or they deserve to lose by that much. And obviously them niggas they need a nigga. So see you next year. It, I just can't wrap my head around that, dog. Like I'm dead serious. It's really a serious issue. Um, because they just playing basketball. This ain't mutant league, nigga. This ain't like they on a NBA dog. They're in an arena packed with 30,000 fans. The front row fans paying $10,000. These dudes are getting paid $30 million just basketball. 20, $30 million a year. Like, nigga, imagine making imagine getting a check every week for like $2.8 million. Basically what these niggas be getting. Like when the contract add up, that's what it all add up to. Like it's you kicking a man in the nuts. Man, spit in his face, fight him, punch me in the face. Secret nut kicking? Oh my goodness. This so it really grinds my gears, man. That just pissed me off. Like just thinking about it, pissed me off like a bad drive. Speaking of bad drives, I'm starting to see old people on phones. Give us a break, man. Give us a break. You're 71, you're on the road anyway. We should be like Japan. or we mark people cars who's elderly. So I just know to go around you. I know to avoid you. I know to just let you do your own thing. Let's get back to basketball. So the next matchup is going to be Dallas against Golden State. Um, I am I am almost certain we're about to get another Dallas Heat finals, and Dallas won't win this one. I just don't see, excuse me, with Golden State. And the same thing is about to apply with Golden State that I'm going to apply for Phoenix, right? Y'all lost by 55. I had to hit the table when I said that. I don't bet. I don't place no faith. I don't care who on a team. I don't care how many championships they won. This season, for me, the Warriors, it's over. I don't care if they get to the. I'm gonna have to see them actually win the shit. A nigga gonna have to raise that trophy up for me to actually be like, okay, the Warriors did it. Because losing by 55 in a playoff game where the best player wasn't even on the team. I don't care who on the court. I don't care it's because of Moody. Next game they started Looney. Come on, man. Looney averaged 6 points. So I have Dallas winning that series. Um, I have Miami beating Boston in, ooh, I don't know. Ugh. Has there ever been, and the reason why I'm thinking it's another Dallas Miami finals, because finals duplicated finals seems to just be an NBA thing. Um, it's been like 10 years. It's probably the 10-year season since Dirk and them won it. I think it was the 11-12 season. So it's been 10 years. So it seems with a new coach, and that coach was also there when they won it, when they won the finals 10 years ago. Of course, Dirk is at every playoff game. It just seems fitting. Whether it's coincidental, maybe I'm just making up things. It just seems fitting that Dallas would be the ones to go to the finals. I picked Miami just because I think they're a tougher team with a lot of scoring and a lot of defense. And I think that Boston can be nullified. Milwaukee just wasn't gonna be the motherfuckers to do it. I mean, you know, aside from the Middleton thing, if you look at, put it like this, even when Middleton was there last year in the finals, I should look up Giannis stats, but I know the game six, he had like 40 and 20. Game six, that was game six in the finals last year. He had like 40 and 25. Game six in the series they just lost against Boston, he had like 40 and 25. Look, man, I understand Drew Holiday plays great defense. Fantastic defense, amazing defense. Giannis can't score every motherfucker, bro. He can't. You can't go 40 and 25 every game. We're so used to Giannis's stats already. Like this ain't even been LeBron shit. Like even LeBron stats to these days, to this day, still like shocks people. Oh, LeBron had 38, 8 and 6. You know what I mean? Like he's always had them numbers. For he's averaged that. It's probably his average at this point. Probably like 28, 8 and 8, or 28, 6 and 7, whatever. Probably could have went down a little bit, but he averages that for his career. He's always had that. And Giannis, it's been like 3, 4 years of like 40 and 18, 30 and 18, 30 and 16. and we have no regard for it. It's so normal now that when they lose, the slander just pile up. But dog, if if I'm putting up 20 and 20, at least he's putting up 20 and 15 at the very least. That's the floor. That's probably just average. He probably average. We probably average 30 and 15. But the lowest you gonna get out of Giannis in the playoff is 20 and 12. That's a trash, bare minimum trash. But you can't expect a dude to put up 40 and 20 every fucking game in every series, dog. Even when Middleton is there. Matter of fact, he ended the finals. This nigga had like 50 and 20 with one leg. So as much as it's a not having Middleton thing to just balancing the scoring and spread the floor, really spread the floor. Because Drew is not a great 3-point shooter. He's not a great shooter. He's good in the mid range. He kind of get to the cup. He's not a great 3-point shooter. Uh, and even if percentage, it's not consistent. It's not something you can count on. Um, what do like what do we expect out of Giannis though? How can we, and it's like the LeBron. It's like LeBron, but Giannis doesn't have the. He's not playing point guard. Well, he is playing point guard. He's playing more like fucking point center. Um, I like if you putting up 40, 25, 4 and 2, like and Wes Matthews is playing 28 minutes. I'm not looking at this. I'm just thinking of it for when I saw it. Wes Matthews playing 28 minutes. This nigga got 3 points. Bobby Porter's played like 20 minutes, 22 minutes. This nigga had like 8 points. Uh, Drew had like in the last game, I think he had like maybe 17. Um, in the game six, Drew maybe had like 24. Like I'm not saying Drew Holiday should be putting up 40 every night, but nigga, put up 40 some nights. Like when the last time? And I understand he's a great defensive player, but you're the number two on the team. Nigga, Matisse Thybulle can play great defense. That nigga comes off the bench. Ben Simmons plays great defense, but the number two player, especially when Middleton's not there, and I like Middleton, but think about all the other number twos in the league on the in Golden State. You can pick Jordan Poole or Clay. Would you have rather have Jordan Poole, Clay Thompson, or Chris Middleton? Okay, if you go to um let's say the Pelicans with Zion, would you have rather have CJ McCollum or Brandon Ingram or Chris Middleton? If you go to and Chris Middleton is not a bad player. I'm just comparing the other number twos. And the other number twos who could be two. I don't know if Jordan Poole, Clay is not healthy, so I won't call, Jordan Poole the number two there. But when Clay is full on, Clay is the number two, motherfucker. So that's what I'm trying to compare. And it's just not the same. That's just like Giannis's MVP. Yeah, I said this when everybody was the first MVP year. When everybody saying should have been LeBron. Like just like with Jokic this year, most valuable player. The second best player on the Lakers was Anthony Davis, nigga. This nigga was a top five player that year. And the second best player for the Bucks was Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, again, he's not a bad player. He's not a top five player either, or a top 10 player. Philly, James Harden, even though it's a different James Harden still averaged like 9 assists. Think somebody with Giannis that averaged 9 assists and 7 rebounds. And right now, he held about 20 points. But that's 9 assists. Uh, Miami. the number 2 is Bam. That's not the same play style, but let's say if it was Jimmy, you got Jimmy Butler and Giannis roaming the corridor, nigga, shut everything down. Cause Jimmy can triple doubles, he can pass, he can assist, he can run with the ball. That's defense everywhere. So, um, I think Giannis is so good and he's so great. We're already at that level like LeBron with him, and this is even more ridiculous for than LeBron because well, it's not that ridiculous. LeBron's pretty ridiculous, but to me, a nigga getting 12, 16, 20 rebounds. Like what? What more? What? Goddamn! I gotta pop the popcorn, nigga. I'm making the nachos. I'm pickling the jalapenos myself. I got the jars in the car. What else do a nigga need to do to get some respect? Um, so saying all that, um, I think Miami can handle Boston. I think it's gonna be a really, really tough series. I think this motherfucker might be some kind of 82, 88 score type of games. Um, because I just don't see either one going crazy like this. And like I said, I can't pick Golden State. I just can't. You lose by 55, I can't pick you. But Dallas and Miami in the finals, it seems pretty good. I got a little tinfoil hat. We'll talk about it if it happened. Excuse me. We'll talk about it if it happened. I got a little tinfoil hat about um, the NBA, NFL rewarding uh, Texas teams secretly. We'll talk conspiracy later. But I think cats like Luca, cats like Giannis, um, cats like Trey Young. We'll say Trey Young too. These young guys that could just drag an entire team to the playoffs on their back. Those are superstars, abundant superstars. I think Luka's a superstar already. I think Trey Young is at the door superstardom. I think Jason Tatum is a superstar already. I don't know what's going on, but these boys in the East Conference Finals and Jason Tatum. Last time I checked, uh, let's see. Last time I checked, this nigga is 24, and they've been going. He got drafted in 2017, so they've been grinding in the playoffs for like 4 years now. So the experience is already there. So I mean, look out for Boston, man. This is one of the craziest things where Boston is. Boston formerly had a coach, and this coach, there was a poll done. I think maybe by ESPN, but there was a poll done where there was a two scoops, two handfuls of general managers in the NBA that said that they would choose that coach over any superstar player. Let me s- let's just say it's two scoops. That says 13, 14 teams. You can already have an idea of who some of those teams are. They said they would rather have a coach. We ain't talking Phil Jackson. I ain't say Red Auerbach. There's one particular coach who's now in the front office that they would choose him over any superstar player. I'm about to flip the table. Now I just said to myself, my hands literally went under the table just now. I just said it out loud. And this was said in like 2018. This ain't 2012. This ain't 2002. Uh so it's really a difference on how the level of play of Boston went up once that coach decided to get out the way. Um So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for all these teams. Good for Miami because Miami has been injured. Spoelstra is an Spoelstra, I know Mighty Williams and the Suns did just a fantastic job of 64 wins, but Miami was injured the entire year. Like these niggas was hurt all year, and I know this is because you when you playing DraftKings, you gambling. You see all these lineups. You see a random lineups. Max Struess, Gabe Vincent. That's how they know these dudes can play now because they've been playing them the whole year. Because everybody been hurt. That's why they know these dudes can play now. That's why when you see a star lineup in the playoffs, you be like, who the fuck is Gabe Struess? Who's Max Vincent? Who is these? That's the niggas that's been stepping up. Caleb Martin, that's the niggas that's been stepping up throughout the season when Jimmy had to go out, a Bam had to go out, or a hero who hero has been in and out too. Kyle Lowry's been in and out. They main four players and at least miss 20 games apiece. At least. They main four players at least miss 20 games. They had to miss 20 games. Um so that brings up the continuity of Miami. That's why I think Miami's such a favorite. Because when you have these deals, like I said, dude, you got role players that's been playing all year, stepping up. They was like maybe it was number one seed in the East, number either one or two. With Max Vincent and Gabe Struess, Dedmon stepping in, come in, pop little shots, pop, pop, pop. Like that's why I really want to make them the favorites and them versus the Mavericks been real cool. So we're moving on. What I want to do, I want to talk about the UFC too. And we've had the last 2 weeks. We got another week of fights. Jesus Christ, who's fighting this week? Um, yeah, I'm really excited about. You know, I haven't even been watching basketball at all. I'm just liking the drama of basketball. The drama of basketball uh, is a lot more fun. Dude, Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum and Devin Booker is older than Luka Doncic. I'm looking at this. I looked up Jason Tatum age. He's a year older than Luka. Jalen Brown's 2 years older than Luka. Devin Booker is 2 years older than Luka. The league is in trouble for a while. Yo, the league is in trouble for a while, dog. Like Tatum is a top 7 player. Luka's a top 7 player right now in the league. These both top 7 players, and he's 23 and 24. Shit is real out here. But let's get to UFC. Um, a couple weeks ago, Jesus. We had Charles Oliveira, and he he submitted Justin Gaethje, which was just a super confusing thing. It was a very confusing fight. So we'll talk about Rakic tearing his ACL in the middle of the goddamn fight, and Blachowicz celebrating like he just got a TKO. I turned my head and looked back, seen one dude on the ground, like, oh shit, he knocked him down, or he knocked him out. He's celebrating. He didn't. He didn't do that. The first thing I want to discuss was Justin Gaethje, right? So Justin Gaethje fights Khabib, and he gets, I would say, easily submitted, right? He goes against Dustin Poirier. I believe he was stopped against Poirier. He goes against Charlo Oliveira, who we all know as a fact, because it is a fact, it's in the history books, has the most submission victories in UFC history. He's very dangerous on the feet. He's very reckless on the feet because he doesn't care. Because you're gonna have to knock him clean out. And when if it drop, it go to the ground, you're gonna have to jump down there with him. So if you don't have the tools to handle him down there, you have to let him get back up. So this is the confusing part. Was Justin Gaethje's plan to just knock Oliveira unconscious? Was that his only plan for victory? Is to knock him unconscious? Because he dropped him 2 or 3 times and backed up. So he's a former wrestler. Wrestlers have great control when it comes to grappling. It's what fucking wrestlers. It's what they do. I'm not sure his jujitsu level, but it's very confusing to me how you think you could just come into the fight, knock him down, and back up to let him get. What the fuck? What the fuck was the game plan? What was the fucking X's and O's? I, how can you be scared to jump on his ass? He knocked him down 3 times. Two for sure. Three was probably, I think he was playing a little, he playing fish. I think it was a little fake knockout. But did he really go into that fight planning to just knock him out and that's it? That seems very confusing to me. Um, and that's probably not a great thing to do. It's very confusing. Michael Chandler, Iron Michael Chandler, caught Tony Ferguson with just a Flintstone foot to the face, and it was fantastic. Let's talk about the fights this week because we got some good fights this week. And the main event, Holly Holm is back. Well, last time Holly Holm fought, Holly Holm probably ain't fighting. She beat Ariana Aldana. I like Ariana Aldana. She punched hard as shit. Yeah, she won by TKO last fight. She punched hard as shit. So the last fight for Holly Holm was in 2020. So Holly Holm hasn't fought in about a year and a half, and she's fighting Ketlin Vieira. Ketlin Vieira is a goddamn. She got a lot of decisions. Okay, she's just an MMA personality, but she lost to Yuna Kusnaya. Wait a minute. Did Irene Aldana just beat up Yuna Kusnaya? All right, she TKO'd her in like 20 seconds. All right, this is gonna be a very confusing fight. So MMA math doesn't always add up, right? Actually, MMA math about 80% of the time, maybe 70% of the time, does not add up. Saying that this person beat this person should so that person should be this person, like, oh, you lost to them, I beat them, so I should so that person beat me and it should beat them. You know what I mean? God damn it. Confused myself just now. But when it comes to certain fighters in the UFC, it's a safe bet. So Holly Holm beat Irina Danya in a decision. It's a 5 round decision or a 3 round decision. A 5 round decision. Irina Danya is a big power puncher. She goes for the knockout. She beat Yuna Kaskaya in her last fight. So Holly beats Irene, who's a dangerous fighter. She KOs people. Irene goes and beats Yuna in 30 seconds. Ketlin Vieira is fighting Holly Holm. 2 fights ago, she lost to Yuna Kaskaya. Nah, Yana Kaskaya. I'm gonna say Holly Holm is gonna win this fight. I think for MMA man, I'm gonna apply this shit. Um, can we parlay this, motherfucker? What's the odds on this? Um, yeah, we don't have to say that Holly Holm's gonna win this fight. Now it might be by decision, but I think Holly Holm will win the fight. Let's see if we can find some UFC on this little thing here. Turner Sports Combat Sports UFC. Let's check the odds on this. -230. Okay, that's a good price. That's a good price. Yeah, that's a good price. Okay, so Santanigio, Santiago Ponzinibbio, versus Michael Pieta. Okay, so first thing, Mikel Pieta, he's one of the last four. He's crazy. Santiago Ponzinibbio is from Argentina. He's crazy as well, right? So Ponzinibbio was like 10-0 at one point. He stopped a bunch of people. He was winning decisions. He was just winning every fight. And then all of a sudden he came back. He was out for a long. He's out for 3 years, and he lost to the Leech. He got knocked out in the first round by the Leech. Then he comes back and he wins against Caramel Thunder, Miguel Baeza. Baeza and a little bit of skill. So I count these. And he's lost two by TKO. I count these as good wins for Ponzinibbio. He beat Neil Magny in 2018. Um, but his strength of schedule is a lot harder than Miguel Pieta, right? So remember last time we talked about strength of schedule when it comes to the UFC. Fighting the Leech, losing. Fighting Miguel Baeza, 3-round decision, winning. And losing a split decision to Jeff Neal, who's very good. To me, means a little bit more than anybody Miguel Pereira has fought. All right, this means a lot more. But I'm gonna ask that you just don't pick a favorite in this. Who was the favorite in this? It's even. That's what I figured be even. The best bet for this fight, we're gonna do three fights. The best bet for this fight is will this fight go the distance? And that's a plus 120 for no. This fight won't go the distance. I think that's the best bet for this fight. There's no way these niggas going 3 rounds. They are both crazy. Um, Next fight, Chidi Njoku. I think he won his last. Yeah, he won his last three. Won his last two in the UFC. Gets Dusko. Not too familiar with this cat. I see some of the people he's lost to. He beat Mikey Piloto. This man's name is Coconut Bombs. I think in this fight we're gonna go with Chidi. What's the odds? It won't be good. We won't be betting a lot on this. I would actually skip this fight. But yeah, minus 210. That seems yeah. I would actually skip the fight. I would actually not bet on this at all. If you're gonna be betting on anything, I would probably pass on this. And let's do one more fight. We'll look at probably not a banger. Yeah, let's look at the banger right here. Eric Anders against Jun Young Park. Jun Park is out of Korea, I believe. Yeah, he's this from Korea. The June always Young Park. I don't know why Young Park made me think Korea, but he is Korean. He's Korean. He's going against Eric Anders, right? So Eric Anders, this is another fight where actually let me go back to Junior Park, right? So this is one of the fights I like to identify. If you look at Junior Park has been fighting the UFC since 2019, right? First fight he loses by submission. Next three fights are decisions that he wins, and then he loses by in KO in his last fight, right? Eric Anders, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs. Um, the last four fights, he loses decision. He catches the legal knee. This is a no contest. He beats Darren Stewart in that rematch, very round fight, and he loses to Andre Muniz, who's just a submission specialist, basically. Um, Again, I think the best bet for this is, will this fight go the distance? And the answer is no at plus 140. Um, so some of my best bets, I think the two best bets actually would be Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Miguel Pereira to not go the distance at plus 120. I think that's a really good price. And Eric Anderson and Jung Young Park to not go the distance at plus 140. You can put them together. You can parlay these motherfuckers. If you parlay them, it'll give you plus 428, which means if you put $10 on it, you win $42. If you put $25 on it, you win $107. I think those are the best bets. I'll be watching it tonight. I'll follow up on a podcast on Sunday reviewing it. And I want y'all to check out my YouTube. Been putting up some videos on my YouTube, gaming videos, UFC videos. I talked about the last card on there. I'm just kind of keep up and match the energy between my YouTube and between the podcasts. Keep going, but again, appreciate y'all stopping by. It's about to be real hot. Literally, it's about to be real hot. We got text messages and emails saying that the power grid could go off. So it's literally could be real hot, 96 degrees with no heat for 2 months. Thank you very much, Texas. I'll holler.